Yeah, the video for me was, it spoke to a lot of my daily experiences. Street harassment definitely feels inescapable. I feel a lot of the time that trying to get from point A to point B, that I have to brace myself, that every time I pass a male, that there's that possibility of being interrupted, so.
I think, though, you see in the video and in what you describe, a loss of boundaries. And I can say, having gone through this as a younger woman, there wasn't a time when I felt as if the person who was catcalling on the street was going to overstep that boundary and approach me or follow me or actually do me bodily harm. And I think that's where things are changing now.
Because that was my big curiosity with the video, is like, how do you define street harassment? Is it the catcalling? Is it the actual physical harassment? Is it just a guy being like, whoa, you know, as you're going by?
I think it's a matter of crossing the boundaries.
You know, when I watched the video, I personally have never catcalled in my life. I don't think that it works. I think that's such an ineffective thing. But I see guys do it all the time. But I never thought of it as street harassment until I happened to be walking down the street with a friend, and you know, she mentioned it to me, and then I watched it happen, and then it happened constantly. And it didn't matter if I was with them or if she said something or if I said something. It was still this idea that men feel okay to say whatever they want to whomever they want.
I do think that we are meant to admire each other. And
right. We dress up and wear clothes. So.
And if you see something in a window and you want it, whether it's, you know, clothing or food, or you look at it, you stop, you admire it, but you don't break the window.
What happens when, you know, a guy tries to talk to you and it's not in a catcall? Is your guard constantly up because you're just saying, I know that I have to put on the shield so that I can make it to where I have to go? And I wonder if that destroys the random encounters that makes life so wonderful.
Oh, absolutely. I'm at a point now where I associate the words "excuse me, miss" with "walk faster, Liz." Because while they could be just asking me for directions, or they could be letting me know that I dropped something on the way, it's far more likely, in my personal experience, that they just want to say something sexual.
Well, as we start seeing women less and less as possessions and objects of just sexual desire, like, I think hopefully some of this will start going away, at least for the vast majority. I don't know if it's going to happen fast enough.
But I think, to be fair, we objectify each other, and
we do.
And I think, you know, I think the idea that only men objectify women and that women do not objectify men is fallacious.
Oh, yeah,
women
absolutely.
do objectify men. And women do look at the superficialities of men and find those things to be attractive. And that's not wrong, and that's not aberrant, and that's not abnormal.
Right.
I think that, you know, even in the video, one of the young women said, well, I know I dress kind of hot, but, you know, I should be able to do what I want. Well, yes and no. I think that you have to take responsibility for how you dress in a certain situation, and we all know that.
Definitely disagree with that. But that's predicated on the notion that these men that we're talking about feel that they need permission to engage. And my experience is that they do not.
It's up to the viewer. It's up to the viewer how they respond. If I see somebody walking down the street in a provocative manner, yeah, I'm gonna look. But I'm not gonna go up and say something.
So those are your boundaries.
But I think that should be everybody's boundaries.
Those are your boundaries.
I don't think there's a way where you can live in a safe society where these aren't the boundaries.
So part of why I think street harassment has come up a lot is because the weather's hot. And when the weather gets hot, Women like to feel the right to show arm.
Or leg.
Or leg. And just something that breathes. And so the fact that men think that a shorter skirt, which again may just be because I want to be able to feel some breeze down there, is because of whatever they're coming with, their superstition about women who dress a certain way, they think that that means I want it.
Right.
And I can't take responsibility for their superstition.
Women's clothing in the summertime looks so much more comfortable than guys' stuff. It's like wearing a suit in the summer is the worst possible thing in the world. I would love to wear a sundress. It would be awesome.
And I would love for that to be something that you could do without people stopping you and harassing you.
Exactly, and that's where the thing is. It's like I should be able to wear my sundress and go wherever the hell I want to, and not have somebody say something about it.
Do we want to live inside of what is to be expected or what's possible and take responsibility for creating that world?
I am saying that if you choose to bring your skirt up that high, then you have to take responsibility for certain kinds of aggressive responses.
I would disagree with that because you can create a new normal. We maybe have to start making like that the provocative outfit is the normal or the accepted, and it's the catcalling and the people harassing that's the unaccepted.
This is a reality, and that you have to take some responsibility for that until society makes a shift. The way in which racial situations have improved is when people who are on the outside started to comment and say, hey, this is not right. So men who say, well, I would never do that. You guys have to comment. You guys have to say, dude, you're wrong. That I think that's the only way that it changes.
It begins, with tables like this, except on a larger scale. Hopefully, when people see this conversation in the original video, that people like me, who didn't even think of catcalling as harassment, sees it as harassment, and then it also opens a dialogue between how men and women relate to each other, how do boys and girls relate to each other, and how we can treat each other with respect and be able to have lucid and free-flowing and open and honest dialogue with one another. And
I think we have to realize that we are not entitled to each other's space. Everybody is entitled to their own life and their own space and their own time. All of those things will go a long way towards making the streets safer for all of us.